Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you are new, my name is Indy. As you know, I am a family nurse practitioner, or maybe you did not know, but now you know. Um, so welcome. Today we have a special guest, but two special guests. But before we start, I just want to let you guys know if you can check out my nurse practitioner with Sabi hoodie. Hey, and my mug, know yourself. If you did not know, we have a new store right now called Medical Collectibles. So check us out www.medicalcollectibles.com and pick out your best stuff that you want. Not only for nurse practitioners, we have stuff for other people like anesthesia, even for general population, like everybody. Basically, you can get whatever you want. So check it out. So going back to the video, I have with me Dr. Robin and Dr. Carlson Foma, and they are both doctors of anesthesia practice. And today they're just going to let you guys know how to succeed, how to become the best CRNA candidate. So before we go in, I'll let my guests introduce themselves first. So I don't know who wants to go first. You guys.
We'll let your lovely husband go first.
Oh, yes, Dr. Robin. Hey, my husband. Okay, that's right. Go ahead.
Hello, I'm sure you guys have seen me on this channel before. We are continuing the anesthesia series. Again, my name is 𝐤𝐤𝐬𝐷 Robin. You can call me Dr. Robin, CRNA, DNAP. Humbled to be here.
Awesome. Now moving to Carlson.
Hey guys, um, Ndee Speaks TV. Thank you for having me. It's my first time here. My name is Dr. Carlson Foma. I'm a nurse anesthesiologist. I've been doing this for 5 years, and I'm glad to be here
Woo!
having me.
Gee, awesome. All right, so I'm not gonna waste you guys' time because I know you guys are like busy people. So we're gonna go straight into the interview. The first thing I'm going to talk about is first and foremost, how did you guys even start up in nursing, Dr. Robin? Like, how did you go into nursing? How did you start? Did you start as a nursing assistant? Did you just go straight to an RN school? How was your journey like to get to where you are right now?
Well, like I like to tell people, I've probably been through all the stages of getting to be having my doctorate, getting through to having my doctorate in anesthesia. I started as a nursing assistant. I have worked as a nursing assistant in a nursing home, and from there went through to become a licensed practical nurse, an LPN, and from there went through to get my registered nursing nurses license or nursing license, and then I went to on to get my bachelor's, and then my doctorate. So I've been through all the stages in getting to where I am right now. So that is worked in long-term care, worked as a manager, worked in acute care, worked in the ICU. I've done float pool. I've not done travel nursing though, but float pool is more or less than like travel nursing because you go to a lot of different locations in different hospitals. But now I'm here.
Awesome. That's a awesome story. All right, Dr. Carlson.
Hi, my name once again is Dr. Carlson Foma. I have been through all the stages. That's Robin and I have in common is that we started from the bottom and now we are here.
Hold up. All right.
That's the humbling part about this. We started at Prince George's Community College, and we had our associate at PG. And my plan was to, because I was measuring in pre-med, why I did nursing. I went to University of Maryland, did biochemistry at University of Maryland in the middle of my biochemistry degree. A very good friend of mine, he's a cardiologist. He taught me how to go into med school, and
What?
I've been thanking him. Yes, yes, he is, and I've been thanking him to this day. So, in the middle of my biochemistry degree at University of Maryland, through the Human Entrepreneurs Program, it's a full ride scholarship program I had at University of Maryland. I decided to pursue nurse anesthesia. So I went ahead and um, geared myself up, went straight to the ICU. I was already working in the ER at the time, and I had some nursing aid experience while I was in nursing school. So prepped myself up, worked at Innova Fairfax Hospital for about 4 years. Worked at Providence Hospital while I was applying for anesthesia school. And from that, the rest is history. And now I'm here. But it's been a humbling experience. Something I will not trade it for anything else. I love my life right now, and there is more.
I am curious to know though, how did a cardiologist talk you out of going to med school?
Because he saw me as an entrepreneur, and he noticed that there are other avenues of still enjoying medicine and doing the entrepreneurial aspect on the side. It will give me best of both worlds. Not only that, it's not going to waste my time and come out with a lot of death, because he understands that I was the only one, I had no support system,
Oh, okay.
no family here to help me with anything. He understands the struggles that I was in. He knew I was a single dad at that time and how things were going to be tough. So he put all those factors in, and he kind of guided me the best way he could to be able to make great decisions in my life, which, looking back, was the best decision I ever made.
Wow, that's actually awesome. So
Yeah.
let's just continue with you right there. So, why did you decide to go into anesthesia?
Well, the reason, so while I was at University of Maryland, I was already working as a nurse. That's the beauty about it.
Mm-hmm.
I was 21 years old when I graduated nursing school. And while I was working as a nurse, and I have this mentor on the side telling me all these things as well and trying to guide my life forward, I met um, a nurse anesthetist. They came down at doctor's hospital to pick up a patient in the ER that was going to have a lap appy done.
Mm.
And when she told me what she did, and I was like, "You a nurse?" She said, "Yes, I do anesthesia." I said, "I didn't even know there was anything like nurse anesthetist." She was like, "Really?" I said, "Yes." Well, I mean, I was very honest with her. So I've never heard of it. So she invited me on Monday to come upstairs. She's going to be working to take a look and see what she does. I
Oh,
mean,
wow.
just yes. So I went up there, and immediately I came back downstairs because I was working in the ER at the time. I said, "This is it." Your husband will tell you, when I see something and I want to go for it, I'm very determined, I'm very driven. I'm the last person you want to bet against. And I just go for it, everything 120% in, and I know what the outcome is going to be.
Oh, wow. All right, Dr. Robin, let's now go back to you. So, why did you decide to go into anesthesia?
So like I said, I've worked in various settings, long-term kind of acute care, and the next level in the challenge was the ICU, and the ICU have a certain level of I wouldn't say you have some autonomy in how you practice. Something happens to the patient, you have a lot of critical patients that you need to respond to immediately. And I love that practice setting. Even before you call the intensivist to do anything, there are some things like you have to change a drip rate, you have to do something before you call anybody. And so I love that. And being in that environment, the next level, people that were there, and people that bring patients after surgery. Oh, I see CRNA, and I mean, I same thing. I went, I shadowed with one of them at I think that was at a hospital center. I shadowed, and also at Innova Fairfax. And I was like, whoa, I'm sold. This is what we do in the ICU, and then you get to be in a position where you could do it alone, without anybody breathing over you. And that feeling of you actually being an intricate part of taking somebody from surgery and becoming well, and you being one of the people that make the decisive decisions and actions was a great thing to me. So I said, this is it, I'm doing it.
So does both of you think that shadowing is like a necessary step into going forward?
I think so. Personally, I do really think so because it gives you a glimpse of what you'll be able to do. Just like to piggyback on what Robin said, when I shadowed a nurse anesthetist, I was able to see how they were able to manage all these drips, everything else, and they're able to pay attention. We're having a conversation, but when the surgeon says something, they can tell the difference. I mean, without stopping on their conversation, pick up on the like, I want to do that. That is so cool. I mean, there's also an art component to it. So by shadowing, you get to see all that. And if it's not for you, I think you can tell it's not for you. You can tell. And it saves you a lot of time. It saves you a lot of headache because it's stressful. It would drive you nuts. But if you love it, the rest is history.
Hmm. Okay. What do you think?
Who, me?
Yeah,
Okay.
I was asking the both of
I mean,
you.
she said, what do you think? So
I was asking the both of you, like,
yeah,
do you
so
also see the shadowing?
shadowing is definitely a necessary step, because like Dr. Carson said, if it's for you, it's for you. Like, you'll love it. There are scary moments, like I call it, the part that you need to put yourself in the chamber to know if you could withstand the heat. Because there are situations that is just gonna be right out gut wrenching. You If you look at it like, this is not for me, I cannot take this. But that's why they tell you, go to the ICU and walk first, because you'll see a lot of these things in the ICU. But in the ICU, you have a lot of people around you. In anesthesia, you're in there alone by yourself. Before anybody else comes running in, you have to do something, and you'll know if it's for you. You'll know if it's not for you. You'll know. But sometimes you might be there and you're like, this is too much. But some people are able to, work on their mind to be able to get to where they need to be. So definitely shadowing is a must.
So why was the reason you didn't go into NP, right, instead of like going to NP than going to and went into anesthesia instead of nurse practitioner? Anyone can answer.
I mean, I like I said, you have to know yourself, right? You really have to know yourself. And there are different versions of MP that I felt like if I had pursued would have given me a quasi kind of appealing the feeling that I am getting right now doing anesthesia. For example, when I worked at CVIC or Novo Fairfax Hospital, there whoever ran the ICU was a PA or an MP. You know what I mean? So in that respect, I can see myself doing that because it
Mm.
was challenging. There was some cerebral component to it that was very enticing to me. A little bit of that adrenaline and controlled adrenaline, so to speak. So
Mhm.
that for me is very enticing. Okay, and that's my nature. That's my character. It's in my personality. It's in me. You have to make sure it matches your personality. So anesthesia was a match made in heaven for me because it gives you that cerebral component of it, very challenging. At the same time, there's certain degree of autonomy in it, and it also keeps you on your toes. At the same time, it's very humbling.
Mm.
It's very humbling. I don't care how much, how long you've been doing this, it will bring you to your knees. It will bring, if you think you know it all, oh man, you are dead. You are you are in for trouble. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. So that about it is very. It gives me a certain degree of serenity, and I
Mm,
love that. It keeps me grounded, and it gives me the best of both worlds. I think, so some divine intervention that occurred because you cannot be this lucky in making decisions all through your life. So I always commit big decisions like this in prayer and making sure I'm making the right decisions. So I'm glad that not to make this all biblical and all that God guided me to the right path or to guide
of
me
course,
to the right people that got me here.
of course. All right, Dr. Robin, what about you?
So why what was the question again?
Why did you pick anesthesia instead of nurse practitioner?
So like I said, that autonomy, to some extent, like Dr. Carlson also said, there are different things that you compare between anesthesia, the work life balance, and to tell you the truth, sometimes the luxury that affords you to do other things, maybe sometimes the financial aspect, so that a lot of different things that can be compared specifically. But right now, I love the feeling, I love the ability to be there in that acute setting, and that's what I wanted, because in the ICU that's what you have. And so I wanted to continue that, so at least do something that replicates that setting.
Awesome, awesome. That's great. Me, I know that ain't for me because I just cannot. Like, since when I went to have my baby and somebody had to put that epidural in my spine, I know that I can never do that to somebody. Like, sit straight, like you can paralyze someone. When I think of such thing, it scares me. So it's not for the faint-hearted. So, like, it's just I just know that yeah, that's too much of I don't know how to put it, like too agey for me. So I like my primary care very well. Thank you. All right. So
That's what makes a team.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So if someone is thinking of going into CRNA, because I'm pretty sure there's someone that is watching or someone out there that is thinking like, I really, really want to do this. And as you all know, as you both of you know, you have to go through interview and all of these things with CRNA school. So how can that person be like the best candidate? Because I believe from my experience with my husband, I believe like so many people go and then they pick like a handful, which that would give me anxiety already. So, like, how can someone prepare themselves to go in to their interview and get and be successful and nail it and just being the best candidate? We can start with Dr. Robin.
Go ahead, Dr. Robin.
Oh, I was gonna get, since he's done this for 5 years. I'm starting not too long, so he can he
No,
can, he can take it.
no, I actually think you should start. The reason for starting is because this is, by the way, it's a very great question. And I think you should start because it's a question with a lot of answers. There's no one absolute answer.
That's true.
So we will both piggyback on each other and try to
Okay.
address that question. I think it's a very, very good question. Go ahead, Robin.
Okay. All right. So, to be the best candidate, I think to be the best candidate starts when you get your RN license. That first day that you become an RN, because you have to get an RN license, as your BSN. And so it starts from picking the first unit you're going to work in, because the process takes time for you to get to becoming a CRNA, or to even applying to CRNA school takes time. You need at least a year and a half to 2 years of working in an ICU, right? Experience. And then you need to apply, and then it takes another year. So you need at least 3 to 4 years for that process. So when you
Mm,
get your RN license, you need to work in certain ICUs, and certain ICUs Some people tend to look at it preferably over others, like the CVICU. You want to work in a CVICU or you want to work in a trauma ICU. I've seen some people that have worked in a pediatric ICU, which, I had some of them in my class, but CVICU, trauma ICU, surgical ICU, because those are basic everyday surgery. So you want to put yourself in a situation where you can be competitive. Remember that everybody has, for somebody to want to go to anesthesia school, they have good grades. Nobody will have a poor grade, have a 3.0 GPA and want to apply to anesthesia school. So they most likely have a 3.5 and above. But if you look at it and think, well, I don't have a 3.5 GPA and above, then you need to retake some of the classes that you need to have a good GPA. At least you need to have A's and B's. You can't have any C's, especially the science classes, the math, the advanced math, the chemistry, biochemistry, all that. So you need to retake those classes. So CVICU, trauma ICU, surgical ICU, retake your classes and then have at least 2 years of experience. That gets you to a certain point that you can apply. But before you apply, you need to hit the list and check off what do you have. You need to have been a volunteer. Volunteer is something. So it's not just the knowledge. It's not just the wisdom. It's not just the GPA. They're going to compare your character and what you have done in the society with other people that are applying. Like in my program, about 175 to 200 people applied. They called 75 for interview. They took only 25.
Wow.
So, and when we went in there, go ahead. What did you say?
Hmm. Nothing. I'm like, that's rough.
And so we went in there. They frankly did not ask us any knowledge question, like tell me about some a complete heart block. They didn't ask that. They asked you questions that had to do with your emotions, with your character. It was basically an
Mm.
they just having this. They want to see how level-headed you are, how you're going to be able to perform under the stress of anesthesia school, how you're going to be able to balance your emotional character and emotional strength. And that's what they were asking. Are you able to do this? So you have to be a person that can talk and communicate with people. Then you have to have the good grace. You have to have a good work history. You have to volunteer. So that's what I can say in a short form. Carson.
Every single point you mention, you should have a star beside it. I will go as early as, let's start talking to some of these kids and some of these pupils in high school,
Mm.
because the earlier we can start planting this seed in their head, the more advantageous it is. In high school, get them to shadow, go to work with your parent day, or if their parent is not a CRNA or surgeon, get them to shadow your friend or somebody else that you know is in the profession as early as that.
Mm.
I practiced in Illinois for 5 years prior to moving down to Maryland. I see my fellow colleagues do that, and I'm like, wow, this giving these kids, so much advantage in terms of being exposed to what the potentially, because once you do that, you start thinking a certain way. They don't wait for you to become an adult before they take you to church. They start taking you to church when you are a
Mm.
baby. The
True.
Roman says, give me a kid before the age 7, I will give you a man. I'll tell you the man that he is,
Mm.
because this seed is very important to plant at a very infant level. That's one. Secondly, I do think that once you become a nurse, there are two things that can happen to you, because it happened to me. One, you start earning money and you get really lazy, or especially during COVID when nurses were making ridiculous amount of money, it makes it less desirable, to go back, because you'd be like, I'm not going to work for 3 years. I'm not going to work for 4 years. I have a family to feed. It can be tough. It's challenging. And it can be tempting not to go back. So you have to be relentless. Yes, you can make 200 grand as a nurse. But guess what? You're working 7 days a week. How is your work-life balance? Who is spending time with your kid? You know, these are factors that are very important. You know, as a nurse anesthetist, like your husband alluded to earlier, the work-life balance is there, is different. You can make the same amount of money or even more, but you have good life, work-life balance, good quality at home with your wife, with your children. It matters.
Yep.
It matters how many overtime you have to do as a nurse before you do that. So we have to learn to be not to be too short-sighted or with this instant gratification or doing the 14-week contract, coming back with a big paycheck, balling, driving Mercedes all over the place. To be able to have that delayed gratification, because you know what? The kids are watching. They
Mm-hmm.
are watching it. And that is exactly the same thing. As they grow up, they will try to emulate without you even knowing that's what you led them into. So I think it's very important for us to plant that seed early. It is very important for us to practice delayed gratification as a nurse, even though we are getting paid. And it's also very important when you are preparing yourself as a good candidate, like Robin alluded to earlier, that it's not only GPA, your character matters.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be relentless. One, you can have a higher GPA than I do, but guess what? I'll wake up 2 o'clock every morning and study. Can you wake up at 2 o'clock every morning? I'll outwork you. You will not even come close. That's the part I can put my money on. You know,
Hey,
you will not
Dr.
even
Carlson,
come close. So that's why I
you
said,
wake up at 2 a.m. I'll be up 6 a.m. till 12 midnight.
you know what I mean?
Can you
So
come
everybody,
close to that?
I'm just saying though. I'm just saying that I do whatever it takes to get the job done. That is
Yep.
what has gotten us this far. I will tell you right now, I'm not the smartest person in the room ever. But guess what? I'll make sure these speaks don't work harder than I do. We are gonna, if I wake up and I go to the gym or go to the library and you are there, I'll be like, next time I'm gonna beat you. I'll be there an hour early. You doing 100 questions? I'll do 200 questions a day. I'll do
Oh,
whatever it takes to get me across the line.
yep. Yep. That's awesome.
The attitude matters. I think it does.
And I think I can, just from watching or from afar, because me, like I said, it's not for me. But I think I understand why they ask those emotional questions, because it's very draining. Like just
Yes.
watching, it's very draining, it's very intense. And you have to be strong emotionally and physically, and I don't know, everything, to be able to like go through. So I think it's important that people know that that it's not only just your knowledge, it's not only your GPA, but it has to do, it's like the whole thing, your emotions, your brains, your ethics. Okay, because if you're not hardworking, then they, like, yeah, you might not make it. So that's very, very important. So what is your advice
So
to, let's go ahead.
here is the thing. You asked a very good question, which we have dissected that question various different angles. That
Mhm,
question can also lead us to another question, which is how to succeed in CRNA school.
mhm,
Because there could be two different perspectives. Yes, there could be a lot of general things to do on how to succeed, but it can be tailored down even further, how to succeed in CRNA school as a minority and how to succeed in CRNA school as a majority,
important.
because that is something that we often overlook, but it
Yep.
matters.
Yep.
It matters.
Yep.
You know, so it is tough. Like you said, there's a lot of emotional requirements, and you know, it's tough. It's tough. That's what
I
I'm saying.
think we definitely have to come back and talk about that one,
Okay.
CRNA as a minority, because I remember my husband going to your graduation, and you have to tell us that story
Oh,
and
sure.
telling us how they did not call your name, Like literally, your name was on the list as one of those people that graduated with honors, and your name was not called for some
I think it
reason.
was one of those scholarships that you got, one of
Or
those grants
Yes,
that
something
you got, and
happened.
that woman did not call your name for all of them. You remember?
I remember. But what I would like to say is we are all human beings and we are prone to making mistakes.
Hmm.
Nobody is perfect. It was an honest mistake.
Okay.
The reason for that is she called me, she apologized, and sincerely, it was an honest mistake because it's something I received. I got the money for it, and I got extreme, support throughout the program. I was loved, and they cared for me a lot, and I met a lot of angels while I was in Kansas. Of course, you have exceptions where human beings will be human beings. But I do think it would be a good idea to come back and discuss on how to succeed as a minority in CRNA school. That
Mm.
will be a good topic to touch on.
Yeah. So, what would be your advice to a young guy, a young lady, someone that is, thinking, I'm not sure. I know we kind of touched on it a little bit, but what are the things that they need to prepare their minds, for when they're thinking of going to CRNA school? They want to go into CRNA school. They are not sure if they're going to succeed. They are not sure if they'll make it. Like if they go in, will they make it till the end? What would you tell someone that is thinking of that, or even someone like I said, me, that maybe I don't want to go, but I'm just saying like an example. Someone that is thinking that I know I have the potential, but I don't know if I'll make it. Like, what would be your encouraging words for someone like that? Knowing different, definitely they've searched themselves. They say, "This is what I want to do. I love this. I really want to do it, but I don't know if I'll be able to make it. If I'll be able to, go through the program, or like the challenge, the kind of challenges you faced. What were the lessons that you learned that you would tell someone about?"
Rule number one, the number one thing I can beg from them, you have to make up your mind. Don't think about, I'm very serious. Do not think about the how.
Mm,
Just
do it.
say to yourself, this is what I want to do, and I am going to do it. Don't waste a second thinking about how am I going to do it. I'm not going to work for 3 years. Oh, my wife will be stressed out. Who is going to pay the rent? I am telling you, things will happen. Miracles will happen. There is nothing as powerful as a made up mind. When you make up your mind, angels will come along the way to make it happen for you. I
Mm,
am a prime example of that. Things will happen. I saved a lot of money to go to anesthesia school. Started school, my money got taken out of my account completely. I had no dollar left. I'm
oh wow.
telling you guys, angels will come along the way. Why? Your mind is made up. This is what I want to do. Once you make up your mind, another thing that will help is for you to get a mentor. Pick
Mm,
anyone, anyone that you have any degree of similarities with, or you went to the same school together, or they are from your country or village, anything. Because the reticular activating system gets activated once you do that. Because you say to yourself, if Robin can do it,
I can do. Mm,
it's powerful. It's powerful. You have to immerse yourself in it. And the thing is, once you make up your mind, you pick up a mentor and you immerse yourself to it, the rest is history. And don't spend a second talking to anyone that is not a nurse anesthetist or anesthesiologist.
mm,
Don't let those people that are not doing it tell you you cannot do it.
mm,
Don't even give them that ounce of energy. They cannot do it because somebody probably told them they cannot do it. They are not doing it. Some people even talk you out of it because you're about to live their dream. I was in the ICU
Mhm.
when I announced that I was going to anesthesia school. Sister, it's like I committed a crime. I'm telling you, my assignment was different. Things
Oh
were
my
different. I'm
God.
telling you, it's real. Just make up your mind, pick a mentor, and know that there are angels along your road. And the rest is history. I'm telling you.
Mhm. Robin, what would you say?
So I think there was a video we did a couple of probably 2 videos back that we did. I think it was a 3 or 5 year plan of going to being ready to go to anesthesia school. I would recommend you guys should also watch that video because in it, I believe I did an analysis of how to prepare to go to anesthesia school, like financially and how to get things in place. So number one, definitely you have no time to waste because time is of the essence. So you have no time to waste, like Dr. Carson said. Have your mind made up. If you have your mind made up, um, the doors will open. You know, you gotta want something so bad that the universe is gonna basically place things in your path to make it
Amen.
possible. And so you have your mind made up like me. Full disclosure, we have 3 kids, and I did not work for 3 years. And so somebody will be like, "Wow, how did you do that?" Well, I had my mind made up, and there was no going back. You know, there were times I'm like, "Did I make the right decision?" But I wanted it so bad that by God's favor, things happens to
Things
make it
align. True.
successful.
Mhm.
And if you're not in it, you wouldn't know if you can do it. You would just say,
Absolutely.
"Maybe I could have done it." So you have to be in it to be able to do it. And you have to have good and sound financial discipline. So from day one, you graduate, you're in ICU. Financial discipline starts day till you begin school. Set money aside and just you need to be very serious financially and very disciplined so that that goal can be accomplished.
Yeah, so that's definitely important because sometimes when you find yourself in a situation where you think that you cannot do something or you cannot accomplish yourself something. I've definitely been one of those that have said like someone else did it before me. They don't have two heads. If they can do it, I can definitely do it.
Right.
That's true. And also setting your mind, like aligning yourself, making plans, because we also should not forget that everything you do, it comes with good planning. So also planning is also very important. Your situation is unique. Like like you said, you had your money and everything, and something happened. Things happen along the way. You didn't even have the money, but God will always place people in your path that will help you. God will always make things work because even for us, God made things work. Like things just opened up, things just have. In fact, for him, even with the pandemic, all of a sudden the money we were spending for gas, there was no longer gas money. I'm telling you, all those things matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
things
absolutely.
just begin to happen. You just like, okay. So things definitely, but that also does not remove the fact that you also have to make your plans. Make sure that you're planning well, make sure that you put everything in place. And what when Dr. Carson said, angels will be there. Don't just get up and go to school and say, yeah, there will be angels there to help me. There will be angels there to help me. There may not be angels, so so but
so
but
so
but
the,
God is always faithful
Always there.
anyway. So definitely. And Dr. Carson, I know that even though you are a CRNA making big money, because I hear you guys make big money. I
Oh, no.
don't know. That's what I heard. You guys make big money. But you have your business. Now you're into Dr. Spicy. Can you tell us about Dr. Spicy?
Woo! You know, when you say Dr. Spicy, it brings me to life, you know.
Tell us about Dr. Spicy.
So it's interesting. Uh, just so you know, that big money I'm yet to see it, but I still have big student loans I'm trying to eradicate. Anyway, so Dr. Spicy, on a nutshell, it's one of those prime examples of how God uses the ability of you giving,
Mm-hmm.
like being open and willing to give things for free, to
Mm-hmm.
bless you.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you why.
Mm-hmm.
We had a nice, beautiful home in Illinois. We enjoyed it. I had a big garden on the back of our house, and I planted ghost peppers, Carolina Reapers, all these hot varieties of peppers.
Mm-hmm.
I started distributing these peppers to my neighbors. And at work, they bring us gourmet meals every day. So I decided to make, guys were eating some Frank hot sauce and all these things that it's like almost nothing. So I decided to make hot sauce and bring to them to try. They tried it and they liked it. So guess what? I just kept bringing hot sauce. I did that for 4 years.
Oh, wow.
Like they enjoy it, and the fact that they enjoy it so much gives me deep amount of satisfaction. I was so happy. My father-in-law came over and he said he tasted it. He was like, "Man, this is good. You are selling this." I didn't take him seriously. I said, "I go to school. Yeah, I go to work rather. I'm a nurse anesthesiologist. It's not worth my time." I Fast forward, we decided to move back to Maryland to be closer to family. And I had a conversation with a couple of my colleagues. They said, "We're gonna miss you, but you got us hooked onto this this it wasn't called Dr. Spicy then. You got us hooked onto this thing. How are we gonna get it?" I said, "You know what? I enjoy it so much and I know you guys like it. Take a piece of paper, write your name, your number, and your address. I'll mail it to you."
Oh, wow.
88 people wrote their names down.
What?
88. I got back home. I told my wife, it's almost impossible for me to mail to 88 people. I'm going to be broke. I said, we are going into business. I asked them how much they were willing to pay for a bottle. They're willing to pay the shipping and everything. I told my wife, that's it. That's how Dr. Spicy was born.
Oh, my God.
Couple of lessons here. Doing it for 4 years gave me hours and hours of deliberate practice to
Mm.
get the dosages and everything down to a science.
Dosages, Dr. Carson? Is it medicine?
I'm telling you,
Dr.
brother. Remember,
Spicy.
Dr. Spicy is dose dependent. I'm telling you,
Dosages?
I got it down to a science where I can make the same batch over and over, got the measurements and everything down to a science. That's how Dr. Spicy was born. So we take a blend of some of the world's finest peppers, we
Mm,
put them
mm.
together, give you flavor, and this is flavor with not just heat burning your mouth or putting your head on fire. You can still enjoy your food. You can enhance your food to the point
Mm.
where your stomach says, "Man, I haven't had a good food like this in such a long time." They're spicy, their flavor together synergistically put you in a very, very good place.
Ah,
And it's dose dependent. If you want a little bit harder, you get it. We have three flavors. We have medium, hot, and African hot.
we are so
So,
passionate about it.
oh baby, you know it. You know it.
Dr. Spicy.
Dose
So
dependent.
you have Instagram, so people can find you on Instagram at Dr. Spicy.
Correct. Instagram dr.spicy237, Facebook dr.spicy237, and we're ready. To our goal is honestly to put this in every kitchen in America because we believe
Mhm.
every family deserves that.
Okay. So if someone wants
Dose dependent.
Dr.
Those dependent.
Spicy, how would they get it if someone wanted a dose of Dr. Spicy?
How to get Dr. Spicy to get a little bit of that spice in your life. getdrspicy.com, www.getdrspicy.com. Instagram, you can message me privately. I will ship to you over $50. I'll take care of the shipping. There are a couple of African stores that we are trying to get to as much as possible. One Stop International in Laurel has it. Jorle's Barbecue and Grill in Whiskey Bottom at Whiskey Bottom Road in Laurel, they have it as well. But if you go to our website, getdrspicy.com, we have a list of all the stores that carry our product. And we just want to give you an opportunity to try. Put it on your tongue and let your tongue be the judge.
All right, awesome. Okay, I have to say, me, I've tasted Dr. Spicy, and I say everything is absolutely true. My husband can attest to it. I tasted, I was like, hold up, this thing is so good.
Thank you.
And I use it, and then when I went to the store, I said, hey, Dr. Spicy is here. My husband was like, have you finished the one in the house? I said, no, I've not finished, but I'm grabbing this one just in case.
Thank you. We
So
appreciate your support.
definitely.
We're
So,
glad
Dr.
you joined in.
Robin, no problem. Tell us about your shirt. Your shirt says proper fall. Is it? Can we see what it says? Proper fall is a deep
Oh,
sleep milk.
propofol is a deep sleep milk. That's what it says. So, like we launched the merch line. I came in partnership with ND Speaks TV, and we launched a merch line called Medical Collectibles. And so this is basically what play with medical terms for all medical practitioners. And so I am personally curating the anesthesia section, and so all anesthesia providers, whatever you like, I mean, you will see different samples from t-shirts, mugs, cups, bottles, different things that anesthesia providers could relate to in the anesthesia section. But then we have other sections that, for nursing, RNs, nurse practitioners, respiratory therapists, doctors, MD doctors, or just whoever holds a doctorate degree. But this is basically merch line catered to medical professionals. So we want you to go in there, look at it. We have well over 300, shooting to almost 1,000 products on the site that we are hoping to get to. But everybody, anything you use in your house will be on this site with us represented in your home. And so we want you to go in there, www.medicalcollectibles.com, and get your collectible today.
All right, and it's not only for medical professionals, like anyone, general, anyone. We have general collections where there are general items, general words that apply to anyone. But anyway, thank you guys so much. This was very informative and entertaining at the same time. I really, really enjoyed myself, and I hope that this is very useful for someone. And I definitely know that it would be useful for someone out there that is looking for this kind of information, because I'm pretty sure that sometimes people look for stuff, they look for mentors, they look for information, and they can't get it. So making videos like this definitely helps people. Making videos like this definitely help people, that are looking for this kind of information, and the next step in what to do and how to go about what they want to do. So I really, really appreciate you guys taking your time to do this today. Thank you so much, and God bless you for
Thank you
coming.
for having us in this Speaks TV. Thank,
Thank you so much.
thank
All
you.
right.
My pleasure.
All right. Bye bye.
You're like a circle that floats